Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Tuesday. It's May 23rd. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And I mean, this is pretty much when I came in this morning, you see this big move up. You know, 2400's right there. You got your first break. You overshot this channel first. It could be a two-tiered channel. Doesn't matter. We still got the break here, and we came back about halfway and tested the halfway point. And if that holds and we go higher, then generally you're looking for a measured move. But with this 2400 level being here, that's going to be my first target. It's 2400, and we may get through that and we may not. But what I do is I'll measure this first leg, and wherever we start the rally again or moving higher again from, that's where you start your second leg. And you can see it would have got us up around 2404, 2403 area, but we couldn't get there. We couldn't get through this 2400 level, and so that would have been my first target, the 2400. And if we continued on, I'd look for a measured move. But this was pretty much expected early this morning. I mean, this is just typical of what you'd expect in the ES. And, I talked about this in my mid-morning update. And, there's never any guarantees. We could have touched across here and turned down and just been a range day. But, if you come back about halfway and you bounce from there and you keep going and you get through these overnight highs, then you would look for prices to test the next target, and that was 2400, and after that would have been the measured move. We tested 2400 and we did nothing after that. We just went sideways. You can see that when you start going sideways like this and you're back and forth above and below the EMA consistently, it's pretty hard to trade, and especially when it's not going more than a point or two. The only thing you could do was buy these lows or sell these highs. And, I'm probably not going to, I probably should have marked that one with a green one. But I'm not going to mark, I really wouldn't be crazy about taking it that close to the close that late in the afternoon. But let's talk about the trades, and we'll wrap it up for the day. But when I came in, we were moving higher here. We had this two channel, and like I said, this is probably a midline, and you've probably got an equal distance here, and you can see that that's pretty much what we got. Fits perfectly. So this is probably a midline, and once you go through there, that's what you want to do. You want to get an equal distance and move it over, and that would have given you a target here, but we shot up here, and then we just started going sideways, and you got to assume that we're coming back to the trend line. That's where prices are likely headed. And because we're going sideways instead of really selling off, that leads you to believe that we could probably go higher. Doesn't mean we're going to, but that's generally what that means. They can't really sell it off, so we'll probably go higher. Notice that we're going sideways here. We're probably coming here. So I felt like with this double test right here, actually there's a double test on this one, but your signal bar is not very good. So when it went higher here and turned and went back down, I like going short right here. When it went lower, you probably could drop a limit order in there, and you could have got filled all the way back, within a couple of points back into this red bar. And it didn't matter. It was a pretty easy scalp. We're probably headed down here. Generally, I would say you would not be willing to go short here until you've got a break and a new high, but because we're going sideways, it changes things a little bit, and you treat this like a double, triple test of these highs here, and for that reason I like it, just to ride it back to either the lows or and the other trend line most likely. So, but then we come down, and we actually get a second entry long right here. I didn't like that one, simply because you got this trend line working down and it had held at first, and so there's a good chance it breaks higher and then turns back down to make a new low. So I didn't mark that one. You might have entered here just simply because you might have treated this like a little failed break lower, and it's just a 2 tick bar, so it's a real low risk. The most you're going to lose is 3 ticks if you play it by the rules. So it may be worth taking just in case this turns out to be one of those failed lows. It turns out to be a major low, and then we just go make a measured move up. If you catch that, you probably can ride it all the way. So those are worth trying to get into at times. So you might have taken that one. Uh, and it is a second entry long because this is basically a double top, then a first entry, then a second entry. You could treat it that way. It's not a great second entry, but there's a hidden second entry in there as well, and pretty much 2 legs down. So that's another reason to consider that one. But really, your best failed break lower happens down here. Now you've got to break this in a new low, and you got a fairly bullish reversal type bar here. And it actually had 1, 2, 3, 4 matching lows, and it broke below that. So, and guess what? This turns out to be that major low that you'll catch on those failed breaks. And this is not only a failed break out of this little congestion, but it's really the first opportunity to enter on a good entry on a failure below all this right here out of this little trading range shooting across here. So I like it. It's closer to the EMA than I would like, so I did make it green. Uh, but it's real close. You're better off, like I said, to always wait on that reversal pattern, which doesn't come till here. So you get the reversal pattern here, the failed second entry short, the push through the EMA, the pullback, the confirmation of the trend line. That's the third touch. Fairly bullish bar. I'd let it break higher here and maybe drop a limit order back since it's not a perfect signal bar. Wouldn't have mattered. It would have been an easy scalp either way. Then it pulls back here and it still closes above the EMA, above the trend line. We're probably going to push up and at least test this high, and we're probably headed to make a new high, and we might even be headed for uh, a measured move. So I like. I don't like this signal, or you can't go. This one's too neutral, and then so this is really your signal bar right here where I've got the blue arrow. And even though it didn't close exactly on a high, it's close enough. So what you might do is let this one break higher and drop a limit order in there and try to get a little better entry. But again, you could just go long on a stop there and off it goes and still following the trend line. You can see there's another entry here, but it's too close to these highs, so I'm not going to take that one. You need a breakout pullback long. And by the time you get that, you got too big of bars here and you're going sideways, and it's just not anything worth taking there. Um, and then it pushes on up. So normally I would say you wouldn't want to risk going short on an uptrend day kind of like we have here, but um, this is a failed break higher, and you're a good bit away from the EMA. You're coming off the upper trend channel. You figure you're going to come back to here, at least this trend line here, and probably the EMA, and you may get a failed break higher, and you may turn back down, and it may be a major high for the day. It turns out to be the high of the day. It's not a real major high, but it was the high of the day. We just didn't have much sell off after that. So, um, but I did make it green still, just simply because it's not a perfect signal bar. But again, on most normal days, on a kind of a trend day, you probably wouldn't want to take this, but you could treat this like a failed break higher because this was a trading range and it's two tiered. You can see there's 2 tiers there. I didn't talk about that earlier, but it's a 2-tiered trading range. And so a failed break higher is probably going to give you a pullback to the EMA at a minimum. So ends up going a little bit lower. It was tempting to go short here, um, but you really couldn't get in that one even if you tried, and you would have got burned if you did. Um, but when it fails and turns back up, that's a second entry long, and I kind of like entering on that one. It's a nice bullish bar there. Um, I really thought we'd go and try to make a new high. We actually did, but I thought we'd probably go and make a new high and push for that measured move like we talked about over here. But we just couldn't do anything but go sideways really from there. You get one more chance to enter here on a little short trap. Notice the low first entry, second entry, and it fails, and so you may consider going long there. The entry would have been right above this bar, but it's not a very good signal bar. So when you get this one, it's still got the same low and it's fairly bullish. You might consider it. It's a pretty big bar. It's late in the day, so I made it green. Same thing up here. Um, we're just going sideways, and this is a little break higher, a little bit away from the EMA. So we're probably going to come back, or we may even come back down here and test these lows. And so you might consider that one, but again, it's green because it's late in the day and it's not a perfect signal bar. But yeah, when you start going sideways like this, the EMA is flat like that, and you're just swinging back and forth. The only plays on that is to buy the lows and to sell the highs, and preferably you get a little tiny bar at the very low or a little tiny bar at the very high or some kind of reversal bar or something. So not a lot of trades today, not a great trading day, but certainly not a bad trading day. There was a chance to make some money today. You just had to be patient. So we're back up. I mean, a big, huge sell-off we had in a couple of days there, we've taken it all back now. So every time we get a sell-off, it's generally a good opportunity to buy, in my opinion, because this market just won't stay down very long. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow, but I'm done for the day. This is Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.